Mr. Trump, sir, your message to the people of Australia. We love them. What do you hope?
We've been long-time allies, and I would say there's never been anybody better. We fought wars together. We never had any doubts, and it's a great honor to have you as my friend. It's a great honor to have you in the United States of America.
Congratulations, I must say, Mr. President, on the work that you've done with the Middle East. It's an extraordinary achievement. Well, this is a $8.5 billion pipeline that we have ready to go.
That's right. It's all ready to go?
Just getting started.
But I have been to Australia, actually.
Would you come again?
Oh, I would. In fact, I've been invited to go, and
Indeed.
I'll have to give it serious consideration. No, it's a real possibility.
Did the Prime Minister invite you today?
He did.
And perhaps we could time it, it must be said, with the President's Cup that Australia hosts as well.
Let's go straight to National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman, who was at the press event this morning and joins us now. Good morning, Jane. These meetings with Donald Trump are always a bit unpredictable. Leaders have been ambushed, of course, before. How did Anthony Albanese go?
Well, James, I don't think the meeting could have gone any better for Anthony Albanese. It has been a highly anticipated event. He's flown all the way from Australia to Washington, D.C. specifically to meet Donald Trump. You can imagine he might have been a bit nervous, had a bit of trepidation leading into this meeting because, as you say, this is an unpredictable president who has previously shown a great deal of hostility to countries considered friends. But there was no hostility in that room. Instead of meeting in the Oval Office, the two leaders actually met in the Cabinet room, and they were joined by the highest echelons of the Trump administration: Vice-President JD Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth. And they were also joined by the Navy Secretary John Phelan, and that's significant because a big chunk of this meeting today was actually about the Aukus submarine pact. Now, we know the Pentagon is currently reviewing that deal, but Donald Trump himself has said very little about it publicly, which was making the government just a little bit nervous. Well, today, what we heard from Donald Trump was his full-throated support for the plan to deliver Australia 8 nuclear-powered submarines. John Phelan indicated there was some ambiguities in the agreement which America would seek to tighten up, but on the whole, the Australians started to be very reassured by Donald Trump's comments. He also, as he mentioned, signed a critical minerals deal. But we're really looking at the relationship too between Anthony Albanese and Donald Trump. They're not necessarily aligned politically, but it was extremely friendly. Donald Trump calling Australia a great country, no closer ally, and Anthony Albanese a great Prime Minister. So here's a bit of a flavour of the 40-minute meeting held in the Cabinet room this morning.
We're just going now full steam ahead building. It's great to be working with Anthony. It's great to be working with the people of Australia because they also, I mean, it's a smaller country, but you have done a fantastic job in weaponry and the kind of things that we do a lot of joint work together. Our militaries work very, very closely together. We've been really an amazing ally when you think of it, right?
And Jane, of course, as you mentioned, the two leaders signed this critical minerals deal. What do we know about it and how it's going to work?
Yeah, well, Australia has actually been trying to sign a deal with America for a long time on critical minerals, but China's moves about a week ago to clamp down on global exports of critical minerals has really sharpened the president's interest in this. Australia has abundant reserves of these elements that are, critical for smartphones, batteries and military hardware, but we need more capital to actually refine the minerals and process them and effectively compete with China that has a stranglehold over it. And so this deal today will see both Australia and the United States pour about $1 billion each into fast-tracking projects, both in Australia and America, to start trying to really challenge China's dominance over this sector. Given that Mr Albanese had travelled so far and given the anticipation around this meeting, it was considered politically important for him to come away with a deliverable, as they call it, something to announce. And he certainly has that today in the critical minerals deal that he signed with Donald Trump.